Hi, my name is Skrillex, and you're listening to The Interview Show.
All right, welcome to the interview show. This is Scott Wood, your host, and we're sitting here talking with Skrillex. How's it going?
Skrillex.
I was going to say Sunny, but it's Skrillex.
It's all good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. All right, so... Oh, he's got to get some smokes.
Smoke it. Smoke it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, man.
It's all good. All right, so your publicist is telling me that you're getting a little burned out on press. So what is burning you out?
Oh, burned out on press? Well, how about this? I think it's probably because, 3 days in a row, I had at least 6 or more back-to-back half-an-hour phoners. Literally, that's... what's a half an hour times 6? How many hours is that? That's 3 hours straight for 3 days in a row doing phoners, and I was like, ugh. It's taxing because the fact is when you do interviews, most of the time you get asked the same questions, so you're saying the same thing, and it's, it's necessary, but at the same time, it's definitely burns you out for sure. I was watching an interview with you today where you actually specifically addressed your haters. Oh, he's signaling for a cigarette, so I'll just stop and let you have that. I'm listening. Keep going. So, no, I'll let you puff up. Well, here's the thing. I know what interview you're talking about. It's a YouTube interview. It's funny because that interview was a very long interview, and we talked about a lot of things. And they asked about the hating thing, and of course I was talking, but they edited it into a way it was all about haters, where it really wasn't. I don't really care. If someone asked about something, I'll answer it, but you can edit an interview in a way to where it can sound like it's geared towards one thing, especially when the title of the YouTube video is Sonny Speaks Back to the Haters, or Skrillex Speaks Back to the Haters, and it's well, we talked about a lot of things, but they definitely narrowed it down to that. I don't really care. I don't think about that. I make music for myself and the people who enjoy it, and no matter who you are, and no matter if you're as cool as Radiohead or whatever, there's people that are gonna hate you. But I don't even know if they really hate anything. Hate is such a strong word and a kind of an evil, morbid word that kind of gets thrown around a lot. So who knows? All right. So you're in Tommy Lee's band, and he hooked you up with Deadmau5, who put out your record. That's a weird connection people aren't going to necessarily expect. So I was wondering if you could talk about another weird connection in your professional life that people are going to be like, what the? Let me think. I got something. What's the weird connection I have, RH? I'm going to... sheesh on the spot. I'm quoting RH right now, my tour manager. We have something fun. There's plenty of things. Who do we know?
Can we pause it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Let me think. Video game world?
Just whoever, random people we...
CC?
No.
I don't know.
Here's some
there you go.
Here's some kind of fun. Ashley, I forgot her last name. She's one of the main WWE wrestler superstars, and she hit me up a long time ago about my music and stuff like that on MySpace, and she's superstar in that world. And there's been times we've been in the same city and just missed each other, where she's playing a fucking arena and doing her wrestling things, where I haven't met her yet, you know what I mean? But that's kind of a fun one. Yeah. So when you guys meet, what do you think you'll talk about? I have no idea. Maybe I'll ask her for a couple pointers and getting in shape, because I don't know. Diamond Dallas Page.
Diamond Cutter.
Do you think you guys will wrestle?
Politically correctly speaking, probably not, because she'll kick my ass. Of course.
Tonight, you're DJing, obviously. When you're trying to achieve balance in your set, how much of Skrillex do you play and how much of other artists do you play?
I play pretty much every track that I have, and it's a lot of my set. I try, especially when you're doing a DJ set. I think it's important to throw in other music in there, because it's it's expected for me to play all my songs, and it's just strategically where you place your own songs, what songs you save for certain peak moments and what songs you play first, and that's, I think, what I'm always experimenting with, and
So can you talk about the peaks in the night and what song you'll play if you want to get to a certain energy level?
Usually I'll close with I'll play. Usually I do a medley of like maybe 5 of my tunes in back to back at the last, however many minutes I have to play. I like to open up with. I open up with different songs. Sometimes like rock and roll, or My Name Is Skrillex, or sometimes I'll open up with some new songs that I'm working on, and I'll announce that. So it always changes though, my set, especially if I play. If I know, like I recently went to a city, I'll make a very conscious, sort of mental note to do a really different set. So, yeah.
Cool. So you make an awesome mix of electro, dance, dubstep, all sorts of stuff, and it comes across as really aggressive. And I'm sure you get asked this a lot, but it's an important question, I think, because you come from such a hardcore background. Do you think that's what makes your music so aggressive?
I think the fact that I played hardcore even before, that question goes back before. Why did I play hardcore before? I think it's the type of music, any musician sort of gravitates towards. It has to do with whoever they are inside, but it's not just hardcore, I'm very melodically driven as well too, so melodies and that sort of thing is really key to me, just as much as the aggression. So before I was making hardcore music, I was who I was before I made that decision to do that. So that can date back to prenatal shit. Who knows why I am who I am, but that's who I am, I guess.
Cool. You've said that you love electronic music because you can make a track in a motel room after you get inspired from a show. So you had a day off in Vancouver today. Did you make anything?
Absolutely. I actually was just in my hotel room working on a song for a theme song for a video game I can't say yet. I just finished it today actually, and it's really, really cool. Really excited about it.
So can you talk about getting inspiration on the road?
It's so easy. Actually, I get more than anything. I'm antsy. I'm always inspired on the road because you don't have the luxury of like walking into your studio and like, you have hours and hours throughout the day. It's like every moment I get on airplanes or in hotels, I'm like itching to work. So it's the most inspired time you have because you have a lot less time to work.
Cool. My favorite track of yours is, of course, Kill Everybody. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that track.
That was a fun track, actually. Just because it went through so many changes, man. I have there's actually a leaked version online. I have no idea how it leaked, man. But a low quality leaked version, and it was kind of a track that it went through so many changes, and I was unsure. And then finally one day, I stepped away from it for a while, and then I came back and took it apart completely, and then redid it, and it kind of became this really interesting, sort of meld of progressive house in the beginning with the sort of plucky, proggy synths, and then with the vocal and everything kind of came together really well. So I'm really happy with that track. Hi, my name is Skrillex, and you're listening to The Interview Show. Hi, my name is Skrillex, and you're listening to The Interview Show.
All right, so when you play Kill Everybody, what are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about how loud the crowd is going to scream the lyrics every time, and then how awesome it is when the song drops. Yeah.
So when you wrote the song, who were you thinking about?
I wasn't really thinking about anybody. I thought it was kind of it was kind of ironic because it's the voice, the voice that I mean, it's my voice, but the way I processed it kind of sounds like this little tiny creature that you can almost hold in your hand, almost like this little sprite that has such a small voice, you know what I mean? And you're kind of like, it's kind of funny to hear that sort of voice and that melody saying, I want to kill everybody in the world, It's kind of an irony thing, but fun.
Cool. So I read that when you were a teenager, you were a big fan of Korn. That band's gone through a lot of trials and tribulations in recent history.
Korn, I mean, I was 9 years old, and I was in a thrift store, and there was a little 25-cent basket. And in that 25-cent basket, I found a cassette tape with a white sleeve over it that said Korn, and then there's 3 tracks. It was Clown, Blind, and Faggot, and it completely changed my life. And that was the first alternative sort of, I mean, I listened to music growing up with my parents and stuff, classic rock, but that was the first thing I discovered for myself. So as far as what they went through, I think every band, no matter who you are, every artist kind of, is always experimenting and doing new things, but they're an incredible live band still. And, I'm friends with all those guys as well, and it's cool to, I don't know what I'm saying, but you get what I'm saying.
What's it like to be friends with people that you idolized in your youth?
It's awesome, man. I've definitely come full circle with a lot of people that I've huge fans of, people that I'm working with now, and it's great, because they're your friends, but at the end of the day too, like, they're sort of the elements of what makes me who I am, because they were influences in my life. And you step back sometimes and you look and go, wow, I'm hanging out with Korn, or I'm hanging out with Deadmau5 or whoever it is. It's really cool.
How do you get over that? Like, how do you get over talking to your idols like they're idols?
You know what? I don't have a problem talking to my idols like they're my idols. Like they're all normal people, and I talk to them like they're normal people. It's more or less when you step back from it and you kind of think about it and go, wow, that's pretty cool. But it's not something I like to get hung up over and think about too much. But it's like I said, when you get a moment of sort of peace and you kind of think about your whole life, those are some of the things that come up and you go, wow, that's pretty cool, So
cool. So at the end of the show, I love to get the guest, Skrillex, to pick a track off his current record, talk a little bit about it as I bring up the music.
A song that I like to talk about is "With You Friends." Actually, is a really special song to me because it's so freeform, and at the end of the day, I don't really make songs specifically for DJs, even though it is music that can be played in clubs, but everything else that I've released is a bit more club format, whereas that song, like I said, is really freeform, and I didn't think about it. It was kind of like free writing, where like I just produced as it kind of went on, and I went from part to part, and at least the long drive version, because I released a different version of that on the My Name is Skrillex EP, and I kind of took it apart and just let the music and the melodies breathe on their own without any percussion, and then like at the right moment I felt to put some drums in there, and it just kind of a cool expression because it's completely different, and for me, like I said, it's very free form.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Skrillex, and you're listening to The Interview Show.